Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. I got the top 10 free agents that the Raiders need to target in free agency. So if you're not subscribed to our main Chat Sports channel, please do. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV, where we put out a video, the top 25 free agents. I took from that list the top 10 that I want the Raiders to target based on their biggest needs. So, do y'all like free agency? I want you to type FA for yes, or type F no for no. If you like free agency, as I burp, if you like free agency, I'm going to be putting out a whole bunch of videos the entire offseason. So subscribe to the Raiders Report. You can see the link below, youtube.com/Raiders Report, heck, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. If you love free agency, subscribe to our channel right now so you don't miss anything. That's how I find out the real diehards. Because if you're watching in the offseason, you're a diehard fan. You and I are alike. We can get down. So let's get into the top 10 free agents that I want the Raiders to target in 2020. Number 10 on my list, it's A.J. Green. If A.J. Green doesn't go with the Bengals, okay, remember, also, the entire time I'm doing this, if you like the player, I want you to type Y for yes, and if you don't like the player, type N for no. If A.J. Green is healthy, he's the best receiver on the free agent market. But I can't look at y'all in the eyes, or I can't look at y'all in the camera and say that A.J. Green is going to be healthy. I don't know. I don't know. He missed the entire year with an injury. But if he is healthy, he fills a major need. Yes, he's an older receiver, but I think he could help some of our younger receivers really develop and be special. Number 9 on my list, it's James Bradberry, okay? For those of you that don't know a lot about Bradberry, he has been the Panthers' #1 cornerback. That's important. Anytime you're #1 cornerback on any team, I think that brings a little bit of a swagger. That's what I want in my defenders, okay? Now, I know that the Panthers want to bring him back, but they have several free agents. And now they might even need to spend more because Luke Kuechly just retired. Plus, in 2019, 65 tackles, 3 interceptions, 12 pass breakups. James Bradberry would fit a major need for the Raiders. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you might get hit with an ad break. Amari Cooper is not on my top 10 list because I wanted to ask y'all how you felt about him first. He is a free agent in 2020 if the Cowboys don't sign him. So the question I'm going to ask every single person, and I am going to make this the pinned comment on this video. Should the Raiders sign Amari Cooper? I want you to type Y for yes, and I want you to type N for no. Should the Raiders sign Amari Cooper in 2020? Now we'll get into another receiver that is on my list, and a player that I talked about a little bit in rumors, a little bit in my Q&A. It's Robbie Anderson, wide receiver for the New York Jets. If you look right now in free agency, he is one of the best deep threats. What's one thing that the Raiders tried to do all last offseason? Find a deep threat, okay? The Raiders were interested in him this season. If you watched my shows during the trade deadline, you'll know that they were very interested in Anderson. And then Mike Mayock, John Gruden, watched Robbie Anderson in that 34-3 game. I'm sorry that I'm bringing it up. Go for 4 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. I am a strong believer when coaches watch players live and they put up a big game against them, I do think it matters. Robbie Anderson will fill a need, but he's going to make about $12 million. Is that really what you want to go with? I'm not sure. Now, I want you to pick a receiver. I'm going to do something a little bit different here, okay? I want you to either go with Robbie Anderson, give me a thumbs up, or if you'd rather have Emmanuel Sanders, I want you to give me a heart. So the next player on my list of top free agents, it's going to be Emmanuel Sanders. So while I'm talking about Emmanuel Sanders, I want y'all right now in the comments section to argue which wide receiver you'd rather have, Robbie Anderson or Emmanuel Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why I have Sanders over Anderson. Now, I get it. Sanders is older than Anderson. But Emmanuel Sanders would be a great veteran wide receiver who would fit John Gruden, who would fit Derek Carr's system. Oh my Lord, so well. Now, I am a believer that the 49ers are going to do what they can to keep him, because he also fits their system very well. We know what Emmanuel Sanders can do. We watched him with the Denver Broncos. Sanders is a very good wide receiver. And I don't care if we give him a 1-year, 2-year deal. What that man did coming off that Achilles injury is special. And what he could be able to teach some of our other wide receivers, that's what I look for. So Emmanuel Sanders, he's number 7 on my list. Now, I told y'all before, I'm going to be watching, okay? I'm going to be watching this football game, and I would imagine y'all do too. Do we really want the 49ers to win this football game? No! No! Let's start typing our P's in the comments. I don't want the 49ers to win this game. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, if it is a 49ers-Chiefs Super Bowl, I'm going to go nuts, okay? So I want every single person to start typing P. Type P for Packers and go bet on the Packers. You guys know where I'm going to tell you to go. Bet the SI. The internet's #1 sports book. Bet on Aaron Rodgers. Bet on Aaron Jones. Right now, the 49ers, they're favorites in that game. You can make some money, a lot of money, at Bet the SI. The internet's #1 sports book. Chatsports.com/bet. Let's get in now to my number 6 player. It's SHAQ Barrett. One of the reasons why I love SHAQ Barrett is anytime a player bets on himself, I respect it. SHAQ Barrett bet on himself this offseason, had a great year, put up 9 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss. He had a good year. It's a big need for the Raiders. He's number 6 on my list. Let's get in now to my top 5 free agents that I want the Raiders to target, okay? This list is based off of my top 25 list on the main Chat Sports channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. It's a good video, I promise you, okay? So, Chris Jones to me is an interesting player, defensive tackle for the Chiefs. I think he's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. The fact that John Gruden moved on from Buckner makes me think that they're not happy, with the defensive line. So you could maybe see them go after a player like Chris Jones, who is, I'm telling you guys right now, one of the best interior defenders. We know it. We've seen him play. He's a good player. Chris Jones, if he wants to be in silver and black, I don't care if he helps us win. I'm about it. Now, I want you guys to name a player you want the Raiders to sign, okay? The Raiders report, it's all about the interaction between y'all and I, okay? And I want you to name a player that the Raiders should sign. I'm going to get into my top 4. But before I get into my top 4, I want you to start throwing some names right now in the comments section on who you want the Raiders to sign. So I see an AJ Green from Andrew. I see a Derrick Henry from Just Playing. I see a Byron Jones from V Mario. See, in my opinion, he's also going to go Byron Jones. Corey Littleton. Another Jalen Ramsey. Crabtree, Tom Brady, Darius Slay, OBJ. You got to trade for him. Name a player you want the Raiders to sign in 2020 free agency. Number 4 on my list is JADEVEON CLOWNEY. Okay? If you're a loyal watcher of the show, you know that I like JADEVEON. Now, the Seahawks reportedly promised to not tag him. We'll see. One of the biggest reasons why that JADEVEON went to the Seahawks was because the Texans, they were going to tag him. He didn't want to be tagged. Seahawks said, we won't tag you. We'll see. Now, for some reason, the Seahawks don't do that. They don't live up to their promise, and he becomes a free agent. He's a talented player. He's 26, and the thing that I was most worried about Clowney was the injuries and him maybe not trying. If you watch Clowney for the Seahawks, he's an incredible defender who would instantly come in and impact our defense. But he is only number 4 on my list. The reason why he's number 4 is because the guy that's number 3 is a player that I would rather have. It's Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue was my top player that I wanted the Raiders to trade for before the deadline. He is a very, very talented defensive end. And if you can go out and get Yannick, I think it just helps us build more depth, okay? Now, out of all the players that I'll mention on today's show, I actually think Yannick's the most talented. The reason why that he's number 3 on my list is because he doesn't feel the biggest need. He did have 8 sacks. He did have 13 tackles for a loss. But you have to remember, the Jags already lost out on Jalen Ramsey. The Jags have lost out on a lot of players. Do they want to continue to lose out on star players? I'm not sure. I think that they're going to offer him a lot of money. But if Yannick Ngakoue wants to come in silver and black, and then you got Max Crosby, Yannick, plus Clelin Ferrell, that is a very, very good defensive line. Now, I've put a lot of things on the show. I put on hats. If you want this Raiders pullover, okay, I'm going to put it in the comments section. If you want to get your hands on this Raiders pullover, all you got to do is click the link that I'm going to put in the comments. And in fact, Felicia already beat me to it. Okay, so right now you can save $40 by going to chatsports.com/Raiders pullover. Get yourself some nice new gear, okay? Get yourself some nice new gear for the season. Now let's just say that pullover, it ain't for you. If you want a hat, if you want a t-shirt, all sorts of Raiders gear, chatsports.com/Raiders sale. Up to 50% off. It's the off season, it's okay. The most diehard fans wear their team in the off season. And the one thing that I've noticed about the nation, I know people who I've only seen in Raiders gear. I'm serious. I've seen them 10 times. They wear Raiders gear all the time. GMG Zay, love your channel. Been subscribed for a while now. Appreciate you. Go rep the Raiders. Oh my God. Raiders. Go rep the nation. Stumbling over my words. I'm struggling. That's why I can't chug beers. Chatsports.com/Raiders sale. Number 2 on my list, it's Chris Harris. Chris Harris at 30 years old. He's getting a little bit older. I get it. But I've seen Chris Harris play for a long time. And if you are going to go out and you have 5 picks in the top 100, if your biggest need right now is secondary, if you're trying to mold some cornerbacks, Chris Harris is an absolutely brilliant defender. Okay? He has definitely lost his step. But the fact that he could come in and teach some of our younger players, that's why I want Chris Harris. Plus, he knows the AFC West very, very well. Now, Chris Harris is my number 2 player on my list. So now I'm going to make you guys pick a cornerback. The number 1 player on my list, it's Byron Jones. And I've seen y'all throw it in the comments already. But who would you rather have, Chris Harris or Byron Jones? So if you'd rather have Chris Harris, I want you to type CH. And Richard Cortez says, Chris Harris has swagger. Bro, I like him low-key. Yo, Chris, high-key, I like Chris Harris a lot. That's why I put him on my list. Chris Harris does bring a lot of swagger. He's also going to force a lot more turnovers than Byron Jones. So would you type your CH for Chris Harris or BJ for Byron Jones? I'm going to type BJ. The reason why I'm going to go with Byron Jones is because he might not force a lot of turnovers, but the dude can cover. The reason why he doesn't force turnovers, honestly, is because teams don't want to really throw at him. Byron Jones has had a very, very good year for the Cowboys. I live here in Dallas. I watch the Cowboys report. I've seen Byron Jones play. Byron Jones is a legit cornerback. And right now, one of the Raiders' biggest needs is cornerback. Dude can play all over the field. At 6'1", 200, he can match up with some of these other players that some of the smaller guys on our defense can't. Byron Jones is a very talented corner who could step in right away. And that, by him stepping in, you have Trayvon Mullen and Byron Jones as your top 2 corners. I think that lets LaMarcus Joyner drop back into safety, and it also helps Daryl Worley be at the nickel corner. Just saying, Byron Jones, that's my player that I want the Raiders to sign. Now, the Cowboys might try to tag him. You know, maybe they can't re-sign Amari Cooper. Maybe they can't sign Byron Jones. But if Byron Jones hits the free agent market, he's going to make some money. He deserves it. But he's my number 1 player. So I want y'all right now who are watching to name a player you want the Raiders to sign. And if you're not already subscribed to the Raiders Report and you want me to put a player on the show, you can hit me up on IG. The easiest way, though, to get your players on the show is by subscribing. YouTube.com/Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the number 1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.